Hello and welcome back to Food for Freedom podcast, episode 6. A whole 6 weeks since I've began this podcast. I can't believe it. The time is absolutely flying by and I can't believe I'm on to my 6th episode that I'm making for you guys. I have been asking you all for recommendations about what you want me to talk about, what you want to hear about, because I always want to make sure I'm talking about things that you guys want to know the answers to, things that you want to hear my experience on. And this one has been a highly requested one, and it's about how do you accept weight gain? How do you accept your body? How do you love your body and not want to relapse or fall back into anything? Like, how can I gain weight and love my body? I'm going to strictly talk about my view on this and my way that I deal with this. Really, this does not mean it's gospel. This does not replace any medical advice. This does not replace any therapy. This is purely down to how I view it and how I want to share how I view it with you. And this is a journey that I'm very much still navigating myself as well. So that's why I feel like I'm going to talk to you about it honestly, about how I view this kind of subject and the things that get me through it, because I am not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, the secret to loving your body is loving your body, is saying, I love you body, like you're so perfect, like going up to the mirror every day and telling it how perfect it is. That's not how I have dealt with things, and that's not how I feel is what works for me, and that's just me being honest. And I think when you are listening to someone who's been through the very same thing as you, I find it more helpful that people are honest and aren't sugarcoating things and aren't painting this fake picture of life to you, because that's just not how life goes. Unfortunately, when you have a past of disordered eating, it's very, very hard to see something that your brain for years has gone against and has made you believe is dangerous and bad. So with that being said, and without me waffling on and on about my first intro bit, I'm going to be very honest with you about how I'm navigating this, how I view this, and how to accept your body from my point of view. But like I said, this isn't gospel and everyone's journey is different. Everyone's way of doing it is different. So here we go. Let's talk about how to be okay with your body, even if you don't love it yet. The first thing that I just want to mention is I know there are a lot of people that struggle with disordered eating that watch this podcast and listen to this podcast. And I just want to make it clear that not every person who has an ED struggles with body image. There is a big majority of people that do, but there is a lot of people that doesn't. So if this episode doesn't resonate with you, I'm sorry. But if there is something you do want to hear about that you're struggling with, that I have been through, then drop it in the comments, let me know, send me a message, whatever it may be. But just know that you do not have to deal with this side of things in order to be valid, in order to still be struggling. Not everyone deals with bad body image, not everyone is scared of gaining weight, and that's okay. But this is for the people that are. I very much was, so this is how I navigated it. I think one of the reasons this is one of the most highly requested things and people want to know how to get past, because it's such a big thing, is because for us, loving our body and being okay with our body and actually saying to ourselves, okay, I actually love my body, you know, I'm actually really happy with my body, feels so impossible. It feels so impossible, and I think that's why it does feel so hard. And that's exactly why I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, all you have to do is be in love with your body, fall in love with your body, and everything will be okay, because it's not. If it was as easy as that, we wouldn't have the problem. When you are going through recovery, when you are deciding that, you know, you are ready to change, you are ready to heal your relationship with food, your mind has a way of making you feel like an anomaly, like you are the only one going through it. Like, you know, this whole self-love body thing can apply to everyone else, but it will never apply to you because you're different, you're wired different, you will never be okay in your body. And I think that's also a major factor into why things can feel so hard, is because our minds make us feel alone. Our minds make us feel like everyone else is okay, everyone else is perfect, everyone else is safe, everyone else is, you know, able to do things, but we cannot love ourselves. Self-love is impossible for us because our mind never lets us settle. And the main thing is, and the truth is, okay, this is also coming from experience, I am not someone that can happily say all the time that I love my body. I can't say it. Because there's days where I don't. There's days that I'll be on a certain time of the month as a woman and I'll look different and I'll hate it. Or, if I'm having a bad day or out of control in my life somewhere else, I tend to have worse body image issues. Like, it all correlates. But what I was saying is, the truth is, you will probably be way, way, way more accepting and love your body a lot more when you are fueled. But you just can't see that yet, because your brain doesn't have that fuel to see that perspective yet. It doesn't have the fuel to see a life after weight gain, a life after your body changing. It can't see that. It doesn't believe that's possible for you. But as someone who has been there and as someone who has gone through it, I love my body way, 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 way much more than before my ED, during my ED, and after my ED. I'm finally at the stage where I'm very accepting of it. I don't let it cross my mind much. It doesn't get on top of me a lot. It doesn't get on top of me like it used to. My body isn't the most interesting thing about me. Does that make sense? So you will get to a stage with a fueled mind where you actually do love your body. But that doesn't mean that you have to be so in love with it every day. If you are going through healing your relationship food and you're finally feeling better from eating more, but you still hate your body, there's nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. This is just where the brain rewiring comes in, where you have to start talking to yourself in ways where your body isn't the most interesting thing about you. So if you constantly feel in a state where you hate your body, that is okay. It doesn't mean that you are never ever going to find acceptance or love for your body. It just means you are used to your beliefs. That is all hate is for your body, is a set of beliefs that we've learned over time. And the more we repeat a belief, the stronger it gets, and then it's just normal for us. It's just a normal response to every time we look in the mirror. Oh, you look like this. Oh, you look horrible like that. Oh, you look fat there. Oh, you look this, that. And because we've repeated that every single time we look in the mirror, our brain is going to make sure we see that every time we look in the mirror as well, because that's the whole belief system we have. Our whole belief is built around the fact that we hate our body. But the good thing is about the beliefs that we've learned to hate our body is that they can be unlearned. It's the same with any belief in the world. It's the same with the weight gain episode. Any belief that you have practiced over and over and over again in your head can be unlearned. It takes time, and it takes believing, and it takes adding actions with it to show that you mean it. And that doesn't mean going up to mirror every day and lying to yourself saying, I love my body, I love this, I love that, I love this. It's really great to speak to yourself like that 100%, but it just goes a little bit deeper, and that is why I really want to share my perspective on it all with you. So where I'm going with this is, instead of aiming, do you remember I spoke about on my TikTok where it's like you're looking at the top of the mountain from the very bottom of the mountain, and of course you look from the bottom of the mountain to the top thinking, this is scary, this is almost impossible. Like, you don't just jump from the bottom of a mountain in one swoop big jump and land on the top, do you? No, you normally have to take pathways. You have to stop at water stations. You have to stop for a quick wee. You have to have a snack. You have to stop. There's so many different steps it takes to get to the top of a mountain. So we cannot be looking at this top of the mountain from the bottom saying that is impossible for me, so I'm going to stop that from letting me heal my relationship with food. That's not how it works. So my method and the way I wanted to start doing this was, and I think a lot of other people are with me on this one, but instead of striving for self-love, which in this case is at the top of the mountain, we're going to strive for acceptance. We're going to accept ourselves. And this goes into a lot of things. It's not just me saying, okay, you have to accept yourself, there you go. We are going to talk about all of this. The reason I like acceptance is because acceptance is the bridge that gets you from where you are to where you want to be without feeling like it's this whole fake thing that you just don't believe. Acceptance is the best thing for you right now in this journey. And there's going to be so many ways that you can talk to yourself in this acceptance way that feels right, that feels a lot more easier to do for this journey, let's say. Now, before we go into the little bits of it, I need to tell you that I do not have the answers for how to accept your body. I am only telling you based on things that I believe, things that I've learned. In order to accept your body, you have to make that decision for yourself. I can't force you to accept your body. I can't force you to make that decision saying, okay, I'm finally ready to accept what this brings for me. I'm finally ready to accept the fact that my body is going to change and I have to be okay with it. you have to make that decision for yourself. Like I like to say is, you've got all the answers in your head. You know what you need to be doing. I just help you unlock those answers in your head. I help you take the next step in doing what you know you already need to be doing. I'm another voice telling you that it's okay. You, at the end of the day, have to choose to accept your body. You have to take this scary step and you have to be the one to choose it. But luckily for you, hopefully my reasons are going to help you be okay with that. One of the first ways that I genuinely think that you can practice acceptance and being accepting of your body is, you know, when people say that you can walk up to a mirror and you can, you know, look at the parts of you and say, hey, you know, I don't like my lower stomach, but I'm going to tell myself in the mirror that I love my lower stomach, and then just go about my day randomly. Like, for people who have, you know, a past of disordered eating and bad body image and stuff, because our brains are wired to keep us away from being okay with any of that. So by just us telling ourselves in the mirror, you know, I'm going to tell my lower stomach that I hate it, but I'm going to carry on restricting throughout my day, that's never going to work. So I think it's things like replacing those things. I mean, it's amazing if you think you can do that and that will work for you without the restriction, then you, by all means, you tell yourself those things. But I think it's way more better in this position where, if you are in a mirror and you are looking at your body, you practice gratitude and remember your reasons why you are grateful for your body in this state of mind right now, instead of focusing on areas that you're trying to force yourself to love. So what I mean by this is, if I ever try and pick my lower stomach apart again, okay, I don't know if you've got the vibe yet, my lower stomach is one of my biggest insecurities. It was before my ED. I think it was a big trigger for my ED as well. Like, I'd always wanted to get rid of it, and I think it's the same with a lot of women as well. But that is an area for me that I really, really hated. And I then think to myself, whenever I go to pull apart my lower stomach, I always think to myself, okay, Niamh, but that lower stomach didn't disappear when you were at your smallest and most miserable. So for that, I'm grateful that I even have the room to put my food. I'm grateful that I have the room to grow a baby when I'm ready to have one. Like, it's going to be a home for my child one day. And I try and think of all the things to remind myself of why I've gone through this journey of healing my relationship with food, why I've accepted that my body's going to change, because I want those things. I want a child in my life. I want to have a place that I can eat food. You know, imagine if one day I woke up tomorrow and my stomach was in a position where I couldn't use it. And I know that's like, right now it's like, what do you mean by that? But I'm grateful to have I'm grateful to be able to taste food, eat it, and keep it in my stomach. I'm grateful to not be doing awful things to myself just because I've eaten. I'm grateful because one day that's going to be a home for my child. I'm grateful because I have healthy periods back. That's all to do with that stomach area that I once hated, that I once wanted to get rid of, that I have so much hate towards. And it's like, now, because every time I went to pull my stomach apart and be so mean to it, is because every time I rewired my brain by telling it things I was grateful for and reminding myself of why I was on this journey, rather than faking some self-love to it, is the reason that I no longer think about my lower stomach anymore. And when I tell you the truth, okay? This is coming from someone who was so stressed by her stomach. Like, the hyperfixation that I used to have on my stomach was insane. Like, it was an insane level, and it was dangerously obsessive. But this is honestly coming from someone that used to have that much of an obsession, that when you have the tools of how to talk to yourself properly and perspective shifts, they work. The power of them, like, you can't underestimate the power of a perspective shift. By talking to myself like that, instead of doing this whole fake self-love thing where I'm gonna, you know, dance in the mirror and like jiggle my belly and tell it I'm so happy with it, that's amazing for the people that does work for. But unfortunately, we need ways that meet us on our journey. We need ways that help us actually feel, you know, like it's possible, like it's within reach, that we can actually find acceptance and love our body, and we can not focus and it not be the most important thing about us. We need those kind of steps. Like, for us, we can't just look at our stomach and say, you know, I love you and everything is going to be okay. you do need ways, you need to find ways of talking to yourself that are going to work. And for me, that is one of the biggest things that has ever helped me. That is huge. So I think of the things that you tend to hate about your body and how weight ties into that, and then think about all the things that you can be grateful for as to what that has served you. What are you grateful for now? You know, I can sit and pull my arms apart now. I get like other insecurities around my body that I have changed since when I was my smallest, but then I have to think to myself, okay, but let's take a step back and let's compare the life that I have now to the life I had when I felt like that was an insecurity. But let me tell you something. Let me just interrupt myself right there. Hang on. The goalpost always changes. So I can sit and I can talk about the fact that my lower stomach was smaller when I was my smaller self. But I was still miserable. I still hated my body. I still never saw it for what it was. I still wanted to go further. So that in itself always reminds me that my eyes are deceiving me a lot of the time. It's a lot of my mind. It's my mind is lying to me, telling me that I need to be different. I need to be smaller. This has gotten too out of control. Like, you're way too big. That's my mind. And I know that because when I was even my smallest, I would still moan about the exact same things. My lower stomach still stuck out when I was my smallest because it's my build, it's my body, it's meant to be there. I'm a woman, but I have been brainwashed by society, and I've been brainwashed by one singular body type that is accepted. So of course anything other than that in my mind is going to be different on me. Apparently I'm going to be failing all the time. I'm going to be unloved. Haven't got a nice body if I don't meet this society image of a perfect body in my head. So that is one thing you always need to remember. When you are your smallest self, are you happy with your body then? No, probably not. Probably not. We are never happy because the ED voice and the voice in our head that always goes against us, and it's not even just to do with EDs, it's to do with everything, that goalpost will always move. Think about it in your life where you've thought, okay, I've really wanted to achieve something, you've achieved it, and the next thing is like, I haven't got anywhere where I want to be at my age. So everything always changes. I'm 24. I can sit here and I can tell you a ton of things that I still haven't done, that I'm ashamed of, that I feel like I'm behind. But then I think to myself, hang on a sec, I never remind myself of all the things I have done because I'm always focusing on the goalpost changing. So that really ties into weight as well, and body image and all of that. Everything is, the goalpost will always change in your mind. You will never be happy until you learn to accept yourself. The one thing as well, going on to the society image and the body image of society, and everyone telling you what you have to look like, and everyone's opinions, and everyone's doing this trend and everyone's doing that trend, and there's just so much noise. It's everyone else's opinions that we always take into accountability as to how to feel about ourselves. And you know, our worth is so determined on what is acceptable in society and what other people think of us. And do you know what, let's just interrupt it for a second. And this is one thing that I love to think, and a lot of the time we all forget we have, and that is free will. You are allowed to give yourself permission to think for yourself. You are allowed to think for yourself. We, like I said, we are so brainwashed into thinking we need to try this, we need to try that, we need to look like this, we need to wear that. Oh, everyone's, doing this on TikTok right now, let's do that. It's the same thing all the time. There's always a new trend. There's always a new accessory or fashion thing that everyone wants to jump on. It's the same thing with weight and body image. It's always changing. But unfortunately, to the beauty standards, everyone is different. Everyone is so genetically different. It is physically impossible to reach these expectations. As humans, we're all different. We're all so different. It's so impossible to meet this one expectation of us. So you are allowed to give yourself permission to say, I am done falling for these trends. I am done feeling like I'm not worthy because I don't fit in this trend, because I give myself permission to accept myself, to be okay with however I look, to heal my relationship with food and be okay with how I look, because I trust my body. I know my body is going to put me in a position where it's going to turn me into this awful, horrible thing that no one loves. You have to give yourself your own permission to think for yourself, permission to accept yourself as you are. Let's stop looking for validation in every area of our life other than the one person whose acceptance we need the most. So that is another thing. Give yourself permission to accept yourself. And you're going to have to just block out all of the noise of social media, because it's very hard. It's very hard when we are constantly surrounded by all of these other opinions on how we're supposed to look. And when we're trying to actively heal our relationship with food, and our body's going to be changing, and then there's a new trend that everyone's glorifying, it's very hard. So permission to accept ourselves. I had to give myself the permission to accept myself a long time ago. And ever since then, I've been battled with all of these other images, all of these jabs that we're seeing, images of people skinny trending again. And it's like, you know what? This fine, this can trend. I'm not going to engage with it. I'm going to give myself permission to accept myself, no matter where I am in my journey, no matter what I'm doing. I remember I gave myself that permission, and I'm not going back on my word, because I'm so much happier right now than being in a smaller body trying to chase what everyone else thinks is okay. No one else cares about me in my life, so why am I trying to chase what they think is okay? Permission to accept yourself. And one quote that I've heard before, which I really am obsessed with, I love it. It's, trends will always change, but your body is yours forever. Oh my God, that really touches the heart. Trends will always change, but your body is yours forever. Do you know your body has to take you through everything in life? It has to take you through your dream career. It has to take you through going to scary interviews, doing scary things, doing the proudest things in your life, having a baby, building a family, buying your first house. Everything there that your body takes you on is yours forever. But trends change. So you have to be loyal to your body. You have to treat your body with respect. It's going to take you through the most important things in your life. But trends will still keep changing while that's all happening. Things will always keep changing whilst your body will always be there for you. So it's all the more reason to love it. I think a massive thing that the fear of weight gain stems from as well is other people's perspective. There's always this thing of like, oh, like if I get bigger, like people just aren't going to look at me. People will start talking about me, people won't respect me anymore. And it's like, one, that's very much like the voice in your head trying to find proof of reasons to stay your smallest. But two, it's again very much based on what other people think and you putting other people before the most important person, and that's yourself. But you actually have to think deeper about this, okay? Because when people are with you and you're with people that matter, that actually matter, that benefit your life, that are your friends, that you really consider as friends, when, let's say we're at a dinner setting, okay, and we're having dinner, or we're chilling or whatever, when I'm with my friends, even anyone in general, when I have an interaction with them, it's always their energy for me. Like, it's always people's energy that you pick up on. And it's like, you know, I remember doing things with people for memories we've made, like the laughs we've had. You know, maybe there's been arguments with people, maybe like something really funny has happened that you'll never ever forget. Maybe you went to a special place with someone that you'll never forget. Like connections, energy, bonds, the things and relationships that really, really matter in your life. Think about them for me now, and think about, when have you ever been around someone and actually come away from it and thought, oh, like their body's changed a bit. Yeah, not really gonna meet them anymore. Like, oh, I remember this time when like their body changed, and like, oh yeah, I remember when we I remember when we went and done this, and yeah, like their body changed. Doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. But when you go away from someone, or you've just had an interaction with someone, or you've just been around your friends, you come away and you feel refreshed. You feel like, oh, that was so fun that night, you know, oh, it was so fun when we laughed about this, or it was so fun when we tasted this, or it was so fun when we went here, it was so fun when we went there. You know, oh, like it was, you know, Niamh was in such good form today. Like, all of those things are the things people come away from saying, and they're things that your brain is clearly paying attention to. No one is coming away saying, oh, their body has changed. And let me be for fucking real here with you as well for a second. Anyone that cares about your well-being and your health and your happiness and you as a person, and wants you around, will never, ever, 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 ever judge you based on how your body changes. If it means that you are mentally safe, if you are safe as a human being, if you are happy again, if you are yourself, if you are feeling like you love yourself enough to stay in this world, no one who is meant to be in your life will ever, 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 ever judge you or make you feel bad for your body changing. And even still, no one should be doing that in the first place. And anyone that was to ever say anything about you or your body changing, why would you even care about their opinion anyway? Would you want to swap lives with them? I don't think so. So you have to think about the bigger picture and think, when I'm coming away from interactions and being around people I care about and being around people, no one is ever going to go home and stay up all night about the fact people's body have changed or anything like that. It's a lot more in our head. Our head is constantly looking for things to prove our beliefs are right. So your head is going to be constantly thinking like, I'm going to be less valued if I get bigger. I'm going to be less valued if my body changes. So it's going to, like, you're going to stay stuck if you keep looking for proof that people are just going to hate you if your body changes. And it's not true. It's really not true. It's built up in our heads. Weight gain and body changing is a physical change. It's no different to your hair changing colour. It's no different to getting eyelash extensions and taking them off. It's different in the sense of this one keeps you extremely safe and is very necessary in a recovery journey and is very essential, but it doesn't change anything about you as a person. It doesn't change, it only adds to these areas of your life, your humour, your personality, your energy, everything like that. It actually adds to it, benefits. It's great, but it's no different in something else changing your body. Like, your whole worth as a human being does not change if your body changes. And right now, your mind is looking at that bottom of the hill, at the top of the hill, thinking you're going to go from someone who's, really scared of weight gain to someone who's so huge that no one will ever like. And it's like, that's not true. That is your brain spiraling. That's your perception of things, but that is not true. Your body will change, yes, during recovery, but it's all changing for the better. And that leads me on to my next thing that I want to talk about, and this is comparison. They all say comparison is the thief of joy, and oh boy, it really is. So I've already spoke a little bit about the social media side of comparison and all of that. And, we always think to ourselves, we find this ideal body picture of what's really like amazing and like, oh, I'd love to look like that and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, we always think about, how come they get to have that? That's so unfair. Like, I wish I could have this. I wish I could have that. And it's like, we do not know any of the circumstances that these people we are comparing ourselves to. We have no idea what their mental head state is like. We have no idea what they've been through in life. We have no idea what they are facing within their life right now. We have no idea about their genetics, their family history, nothing. We are not taking into any accountability at that point when we are asking and putting ourselves down about what we wish we could have in that, about anything to do with our genetics, about how we are born, how we are meant to show up into this world. None of that is taken into account because we're so focused on what we don't have and what we think is desirable and what we think is accepted, when really, we have no idea. We have no idea about anything. All we are seeing is this quick thing on a screen that's coming up. Editing apps, AI, everything. It's terrifying. It's all the more to actually, like, let's stop, like, looking at people online and wishing and using it as goals and blah, blah, blah. All of it is too noisy. It's way too noisy. There's way too much going on. And they're the questions you need to be asking yourself. Okay, I'm seeing this. She looks great, but I don't know anything going on in her life. I can't compare myself to her. I can't compare myself to this. We never ask ourselves those questions. And I'm not saying you have to ask yourself those questions when you're looking at someone, but what I'm saying is just don't compare yourself to people because you don't know what anyone's going through. And I saw someone post the other day about this thing of let's normalize following models or something, but it was like models of like your own body, like your own body type, that you feel like you look like someone, and like normalize seeing them on your feed, normalize seeing what you think you look like on your feed, and people embracing that and being okay with that, instead of like, all of this stuff that's kind of really unrealistic and is glorifying skinny talk and jabs and all of that stuff. So follow people who make you feel good about yourself. Stop engaging in anything that is making you feel worse about yourself, because I promise you, it's just going to make you spiral, and it's just going to make you ask yourself questions about yourself, and it's just not, if we're in our body acceptance journey, this is not going to be helpful. It's just not. So with acceptance and accepting on a little acceptance journey, you can measure your progress of acceptance by, instead of comparing, when you next find yourself comparing with someone, you can ask yourself, okay, but where am I right now in my recovery journey? Am I happier? Am I more present? Have I been eating more things I love? Think about those when you want to start falling into that spiral of I'm not good enough and I want to change my body now that I've seen this Pilates princess and she looks really great. Okay, but we don't know anything about their life. Where are you in your journey? What are you doing your journey for? Let's compare where we are at in our journey to ourselves and just see and let that be our reminder about why we're on this journey. Acceptance is easier when you are measuring your progress by the quality of life rather than comparing yourself to some stranger's silhouette on the internet. And there's another thing I want to touch on, and this is the anomaly thing. I've already told you that our EDs make us think that we're the only ones going through this and we're the only ones that will never be worthy of self-love, but let's talk about this for a second. An ED voice, or a voice in your head in general that is always against you, thrives off the fact that you are an exception. You're not, but it likes to make you believe that you're an exception. It likes to make you believe that you are the only one whose weight gain is going to be distorted, it's going to be awful, it's going to be tragic, you're not going to be loved anymore if you change your body. It likes to make you think that's what you're going to be. But you need to understand that this is a distortion in your brain. It's a cognitive distortion, which means that you biologically work the same as everyone else. We are all humans. We all are put on this earth to just be on the earth and not worry about what our body has to do. Our body knows what it's doing way more than we do. I've already said that in 100 other episodes, and I'm going to keep screwing into your brain until your body knows way more than you do. And we were put on this earth to just be humans and not worry about our body, and all of our bodies work the same. But our EDs make us believe that our body is going to not be able to handle an amount of food that we're meant to have in a day. And, we're not meant to have like a full day of eating because our body will never deal with it. You need to make sure that you are clear on that, because this is going to be a big thing in your body acceptance. It's going to make you believe that you will never ever love your body because you won't be capable of doing that. But it is just part of that distortion in your brain that makes you believe you are an anomaly, and you need to be aware of that voice, because when it comes up and when the thought comes up of I'll never be able to love my body and blah blah, you're not an anomaly. You're no different to me. You're no different to anyone else. We all have the same thought, but we all don't act on body acceptance and body love because we feel like we won't be okay if we ever gain weight. So I just want to make you know that you're not alone in that. And again, when you're comparing yourself to people thinking, okay, yeah, but Niamh can recover, she can do it, and she's talking about that she can do it, and I believe that she can do it, but I can never do it. I can never be accepting of my body. Honestly, I promise you I was the same. I promise you I never thought I would ever be okay with my body. I never thought I'd ever be able to walk around on a beach confidently and be okay. And to be honest with you, I still crumble when I walk in front of a beach and there's loads of people. But I still do it because I think no one knows my journey. No one knows what I've been through. And I just feel so grateful to be walking along a beach because I'm accepting of how I look. So let's go into the genetic side of it as well, which is a main thing that you really need to be aware of, because this is, I think, knowing all the facts and knowing all the actual truths going into it is really helpful. Humans are born with a predetermined height, eye colour, hair colour, bone structure, and every single human being has a biological set point range. And this biological set point range is where your body fluctuates, where it's most healthiest. This is where it functions optimally. Heart rate is steady, your hormones are all balanced, you're feeling yourself, you're not thinking about food all the time, your brain is nourished, you're just good. Like this is where your set point range is. Let's just go back to the comparison thing for a second. Imagine you have your set point range, okay? And you have your set point range that your body is physically born with. You cannot change it. But you are comparing yourself to someone whose set point range is different. That's like me, size 5 foot, trying to shove my feet into size 3 shoes. Not because of the size of things, but because of my feet are size 5. They're made for size 5 shoes. If I'm walking around in size 3 shoes, I'm going to have really, really uncomfortable feet that are screaming at me, telling me, you need a bigger shoe. You need a bigger shoe to feel comfortable, to walk around, to not get blisters. So it's the exact same thing. I cannot force my set range to look like someone else's set range just because someone else I perceive looks better than me. So when you are looking at other people and comparing yourself in your recovery journey to other people, there is physically no point, because like I said, and it ties into the body acceptance thing, you have to just accept that you are born with your set range. You just have to accept that this is your body that has been put onto the world. This is this is the shell you are living in. You can either accept it, or you can keep punishing yourself into trying to squeeze your size 5 feet into size 3 shoes, where your body isn't made to be forced into that position. It's going to tell you that it can't be forced into that position because it's not biologically put on this planet to be that. And you have to love yourself enough to not put yourself through that anymore. To realise that you will know and you can trust when you will find your set point range, and you will feel it within. You will feel like you can finally do things again. You'll feel more nourished. Your perspective shift will change on how you look. You know, you won't always be focusing on your body being the most important thing about you. You will know when you get to that set point range. I can't get you there. I can't force you to get there, but you will know, and you need to trust that your body will bring you there, because your body knows more than you do. Okay, so you cannot compare yourself to other people. And I'm just going to get deep with you for a second here, because I feel like in the sort of area that I work in with like eating disorders and the niche and stuff, genetically, I'm a 5'4", 5'5", somewhere in between there, girl. I've always had a smaller build. For me, I'm in a bigger body to what my smallest body was. And people tend to sometimes put me down a little bit for that. And, you know, I've had a few like comments from people. Some people are just curious. Some people are just curious as to how I've gone through recovery and still stayed in a smaller body. But like, I think people forget that I am still navigating the journey myself, and I still struggle with how I look, because I'm still different to how I perceived was the best me and how I perceived I should look. So I'm still very much navigating my body changing, because this is like my journey, and my body is different to how my ED made me believe I was most accepted and best. And, you know, my body has changed, and but then my body to someone else might be someone else's dream that they're fixating on. But it's so important to realise that even if that was the case, I'm still not where I need to be in my head of how I view myself, and I still struggle. I still struggle with body image. I still struggle with accepting that I'm not my smallest self anymore. And, you know, I'm still a human that's going through the same process and the same understanding of it all. And I just think like that just comes into comparing people, you know. Like I said, you have no idea what's going on in anyone's mind and where they're at in their journey or what they've been through and stuff. And I would just never want people comparing themselves to anyone else, because everyone's set point range is different, and it's all a journey for everyone to go through on their own. And I can't change the fact that this is how I've recovered into my body. The most important thing for me is sharing the information, sharing the word, raising awareness about eating disorders, rather than how I look. I'm fueled, I'm happy, I'm healthy, and that is the main important thing. And I still struggle with my body image. I still struggle with how I look. I still struggle with a lot of things to do with body acceptance and image, but to everyone else it doesn't look like that. But yeah, I think that's just the main point I wanted to make, is it's so easy for me to then, you know, compare myself to someone else who looks different to me. But I don't know what they've been through. I don't know where they're at in their journey. And all that matters is that I accept myself and I'm happiest as myself. And it's the same for you. Another step into accepting your body and being okay to take this next step in accepting your body is let's get rid of this fear that body changing is a permanent state. What I mean by this is, like, it's so easy for us to get obsessed and hold on to the fact that we think this weight gain thing is this thing that's going to keep going like this in our journey and never ever stop. To those who are just listening to this, I'm literally just raising my hand like a graph, like a line's going up a graph. We like to think that weight gain is just going to keep going up, 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 and it's never going to stop. It's never going to stop. That is not true. When your body is going through weight gain and changing and all of this stuff, it really needs this state of internal stability. And what this means is the initial changes and the weight gain and all of that is going to be the most drastic things that maybe you notice that feel like are changing the quickest and most rapidest, or you'll see the scale keep going up. But that is obviously the body's response to previous starvation, previous like not feeding yourself enough, previous needing more food. And with time, when you are constantly, consistently feeding yourself over and over again, once the body trusts that it is consistently fed, rapid fluctuations in your weight, your metabolism will stabilise and you will find your metabolism that fits in your set point body range. Like, it all ties together. It's all me trying to explain how the body is in an easy way for you, but let's just uncover the fact that I'm trying to explain how the body works, but the whole point of this is the body has a process for everything it's doing. It knows what it's doing. It's not going to rapidly keep increasing your whole entire life where, you know, you're the biggest person on the planet, which is what the voice will try and tell you. No, this is part of being a human. This is part of an essential thing to keep you safe and to keep you healthy and happy, to give you and open up your life back up. Let's talk about the temporary discomfort of a changing body, of a new body, of accepting your body and being okay with your body. You are going to feel uncomfortable in some stages. Maybe if you're trying some clothes on that feel too tight or too suffocating and too like, oh, like this doesn't fit anymore, this means it's bad. Giving yourself permission to change and accept yourself without labeling it as bad. It's all going back to that reason why you are grateful for your body, why you are accepting of your body. Okay, so say if, right, my body has changed so much through the years, not even necessarily just weight, but like structure, like at different areas that hold different amounts of things, like my boobs fluctuate so much, so many different things. There's been so many numerous occasions that I have held up an outfit from when I was my smallest, retried it on, like say if I'm going on holiday or whatever, you know, to just reuse clothes, and I will put it on and I will feel so incredibly awful in this outfit and just think, oh my god, this looks nothing how it used to look on me. But that doesn't mean that that's bad. That just means I've outgrown a piece of clothing that doesn't fit me anymore. Because let's look at the two experiences now. I was wearing this piece of clothing when I was miserable, when I was sad, when my life was tiny, when I was not present, when I was, you know, sick. Why on earth would I want that to fit me now? My ED voice would want me to fit it now, because it's like, hey, you were really accepted back then. Hey, you were really great back then. But when I was that back then, I wasn't anywhere near where I needed to be in my head. So it's like, it's this vicious cycle of keeping the voice alive by labeling clothes not fitting as bad. Clothes are just clothes. Clothes are meant to fit us. We're not meant to fit clothes. If you have gone up in size and you have to get a bigger size with things, use that as an achievement. Wow, I've got a next part of my life back. I've got another day closer to getting my life back. Another day closer to, oh, remember that meal I went out and had so much fun and laughed? I wouldn't be able to have that if I was still trying to squeeze into this clothing. So many benefits. Our brain never lets us see the benefits though. We have to physically tell ourselves the benefits of changing our body, the benefits of accepting our body, the benefits of going through this body change, reminding ourselves why we are being accepting of our body, why we are allowing this to happen, why we are finally okay with it. You for so long have been used to this perfect ideal size of yourself that your brain has a map built around this perfect size of yourself. It knows how you feel in this certain size of yourself. It knows how things fit. I've seen people talk about the fact after they eat something that's deemed bad, they have to check that their clothes still fit the same. I used to do that too. I would wear clothes straight after a meal. I'd go check myself or try and make sure that my clothes felt the same. Your brain has that map built out now. So anything that goes against that feels scary. It feels dangerous. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a murder and a tight waistband. Like, it's the exact same fear response. So knowing that it is just a map that's made out as to why you're freaking out, why your clothes aren't fitting anymore, doesn't mean that something's wrong. It's just a map. It's a neurological delay. It will remake a new one when you start, you know, having a clear out of all your old clothes, getting them gone. This is a new chapter. Welcome in the new fitting clothes. Then you'll feel that you are more comfortable in them. You're happier in them. You may not immediately feel happier in them because it's like, oh, I'm a bigger size and this means I've gained weight. No, and this means that and this means that. And it's like, you will feel the temporary discomfort, but your body will start to feel more comfortable in these clothes. You'll be more of a happier person. Your perspective has changed because you're more fueled. You don't see going up a size as bad anymore because you're more fueled. Remember, like I say, your perspective changes with a fueled mind. The logical part of the brain can never override a starved mind. If a starved mind feels like you have gained weight, then that's all you are going to see, because the logical part of your brain isn't going to see it. But when you are fueled more, you will be more accepting of changing clothes size, of your body changing, of being okay with trying new clothes and bringing all these new clothes back into your life. Because with new clothes and with body changing, you are bringing your life back to you. You are opening a whole new life, freedom. It really is like that, and you really have to talk to yourself with all of the ways why life is getting better with this body changing, instead of being like, oh, no one's gonna love me, no one's gonna be. And it's so easy to think that. I thought I was gonna be so horrendous, but I'm so happy. But I'm completely opposite. I'm finally accepting of my body. I'm happy with it. It doesn't mean I always have to be so in love with it, but I never think about my clothes size anymore. I never think about what I used to be to what I am now. Like, I just live. I focus on my dreams. I focus on chasing my goals. I focus on my boyfriend. I focus on my friends. I focus on my family. Like, you just hold everything so much tighter to your heart once you've come out the other side. And these are all things to hold on for and be okay with your body changing. Another really important thing is, I used to be so bad for this. I'd constantly affirm that I felt fat. Oh, I feel so fat. Oh, do I look fat? Oh, like, can you tell me if I'm putting on weight? Oh, I feel so fat after eating any bad food. And you need to separate the feeling of feeling fat from reality. When we say we feel fat, it's only because we're preempting that that's what's going to happen to us. It's an emotion as well. Like, when someone says, oh, I feel so fat, it's because they're experiencing a different emotion. Like, you're feeling guilt from the food, you just say anxiety, shame, sensory overload from a tight waistband or clothes fitting different. That is just the emotion. Oh, I feel fat, I'm so fat. Like, it is just the emotion coming out. This is important because you need to identify the actual emotion that's coming up. So for me, I'd say, oh, I feel so fat after eating something that I deemed as bad. Or if my clothes didn't fit right, oh, I feel so fat, I look so fat, I look so... Identify what I'm actually feeling. That's what you need to do. And I would think, okay, I'm just feeling anxious about the fact that my body's changing, but it doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean I'm doing anything wrong. I know my body needs to change because I need to get better, and I need to stop reacting like this. I don't feel like it's possible, but I'm going to trust that it's possible. Literally talking yourself out of it, finding out the emotion, thinking about why the emotion is coming up. It takes the blame off your body being the problem. It takes the blame off of you and hating your body. It literally, so for me then, I've like identified that it's the anxiousness of my body changing. So it's like, okay, I don't now need to take it out on my body because it is just the insecurity of me gaining weight. But that's okay because I know why I'm gaining weight, because I need to be okay. It doesn't mean my body's going to betray me. It doesn't mean I'm going to be in danger. It means I'm getting my life back. The last thing I sort of want to cover is, I talk a lot about separating yourself from the voice and separating yourself from that voice in your mind that tells you you're not good enough, that tells you, you know, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. So I'm going to incorporate that with this right now. And it's like, with your body changing and accepting your body changing, I'm just going to sort of backtrack to the clothes example here, where, you know, you're buying new clothes, you're being okay with fitting in new clothes. This is really exciting. Like, this part of the journey is so exciting. And I can only say that now because I'm out of it, and I'm only saying it to hopefully give you hope. But you get to explore the identity of who you are without the ED voice, of what you want to wear, of what you like to wear, of the life you get to have after the ED voice. You know, use this opportunity to throw out the old clothes that are keeping you sane, that are keeping you in check. What do I mean by that? Well, I know, as I've been through it, there are certain clothes that fit you when you are not very well, that affirm that you are safe. You haven't changed, are okay because you still fit in this piece of clothing. Or, you know, maybe there's clothing that is feeling a bit tighter for you, that is making you spiral and want to relapse. Let's get rid of all of them. Permission to throw out all your stuff. Start finding your style of things that make you feel great, things that make you feel good, things that make you feel really comfortable in your body. For example, this year I've bought my first ever Skims tracksuit. I now have 2 of them because I love them so much. Actually, it's this one. But there are so many tracksuits that I have tried that just don't sit nice on my body. Like, I don't like how they look on me. They don't make me feel like my most confident self. I've been shopping for tracksuits, and yes, I know, like, Skims tracksuits are expensive. they're not in reach for everyone. I completely appreciate that, but I'm just using this as an example. I have never felt so amazing in a tracksuit in my entire life, and I wish this was an ad for Skims, but I kid you not. I've tried other expensive tracksuits, and even just something as simple as a tracksuit can change how you feel in yourself when you look at yourself. And by finding the right clothes that fit you in all the right places that make you feel your best is a game changer. I'm telling you. Like, the moment I put this tracksuit on, and this is coming from someone who really struggles with talking to herself and being okay with her body, I was like, I love it. I love how it fits. It's amazing. And, you know, different thing, like, there are going to be things that fit you amazingly, and then there are going to be things that you think are horrible. I've been through it too. I've been in changing rooms where I've tried on these dresses and I have just come out bawling my eyes out because it's like, I'm finally okay with food, but I just hate myself and I just hate how I look and I just want to go back and, like, I'm never going to escape it. And then it's like, hang on a second, let's use Niamh's skim tracksuit analogy here. There are going to be clothes that look insane on you. There are going to be clothes that complement your body so much. And there's going to be other clothes that, unfortunately, you don't feel like compliment you. That's okay. That's all part of exploring yourself, who you are outside of the ED voice. It really is. And it's okay to accept the fact you are not going to look nice in everything in your mind, because your mind's never going to be okay with everything. But it's all part of being a human. You know, if we all suited everything, like, that would be boring, wouldn't it? Like, you have to be okay with the fact that you are going to have to trial and error what you think looks nice on you and what you feel comfortable in. But the main thing is that feeling you get when you wear something is like, I don't care what size this is. Once I just get that feeling of like, I feel so good in this, I feel so great in this, that is the most important thing. It doesn't matter what size it is. The size only means something if you are drawing attention to it, if you are labeling it that it means something, if you are letting that size define you. This all ties back into the same concept of the calorie counting. If you assign meaning to calories, if you assign importance to calories, then it is going to determine how you feel in these things. But if you take away the meaning of the clothes size meaning your worth, then you can just focus on how you feel in things, and that will also help you accept your changing body. So they're just a few things that you can start to think about in your weight acceptance journey. And I just need you to know, and I always love just chucking a little quote in here because I think it really helps get the clocks turning. But the changing body that you're scared of is the one that's going to save your life, the one that's going to bring your life in, the one that's going to open a whole new free life for you. The happier life is on the other side of the body that you are so scared of going to. So instead of viewing it as a place where you are never going to be valued, you are never going to be worthy, you are never going to be accepted, let's just know that they're not our thoughts, they're the ED thoughts. And let's remember that that body on the other side of what we are so terrified of is our food freedom life, is our life without being scared of our body changing. It's our life where we are accepted for who we are as a person rather than what society tells us we need to look like. And your body changing through recovery, the thought of it is uncomfortable, yes, but the thought of staying stuck is unbearable. The thought of living my life how I was and how miserable I was unbearable. So I would much rather go through the temporary discomfort and learn how to accept my body and be okay and find the first step into learning to accept my body and be okay in my body, to me, was much better than staying stuck for the rest of my life. You don't have to love your body every day in recovery. And people tell you that you always will and you always have to. And you don't. You just have to stop punishing it. You can have days where you say to yourself, do you know what? I'm not feeling my best today, but I'm still going to go and hang out with my friends. I'm still going to go out for this coffee even though I don't feel great. Because those little steps are so incredibly big in finding that self-love for yourself. Like, to still feel like shit and to still have a voice screaming at you or telling you, okay, you need to relapse now because you don't feel good, and but still choose yourself, that's acceptance. And that is the thing that we're striving for right now, because that is the most reachable thing right now. And with body acceptance comes body love, and we're navigating the journey together. We really are. But to me, a life with food, freedom, and fun and happiness, and being able to have that strength to say, yeah, do you know what? I really fucking hate myself today. But that's normal. Like, I'm a human. I'm going to have my days. I'm a woman. But I'm strong enough to say, because I accept myself enough to say, that I'm still going to go out and live my life. I'm still going to stay on my journey. I'm still going to stay on my path, because I will never, ever. I'm actually getting emotional. Sorry, I'm actually getting emotional now. Sorry. I will never, ever, ever let a voice tell me that my weight is the most interesting thing about me. Ever. Oh, and this is how much I feel so deeply about this, because self-love is really hard to find when you have a mind that has conditioned you every single day that you are not good enough. It's so hard to find. So that's why I want to take you on a true step of being accepting of your body. You don't have to love it every day. It would be amazing if you could, but it's realistically, from one human to another, acceptance is the most important thing you can do to get yourself through the journey, rather than staying stuck. I can't bear the thought of anyone staying stuck because they are so scared that they will never find love for their body. You will find love for your body. You just have to accept it first in order to take the next step. And that is exactly why I'm here for you. So self-love is possible. Loving your body is possible. But you have to remember you're only human. So you can't stay stuck just because your mind tells you will never find self-love. I'm so proud of you. You are so amazing. Please send me a message if there is anything that you want covered. If there is things that you think an episode would be good about, I'll always try and see if I can mingle it in or create an episode about it. But yes, and like always, if you want more from me, I will provide the links in the description. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Fuel for Freedom. I'm creating some things in the background which I'm really excited to share with you soon and would love you to be a part of. So hopefully I'll be talking about them in the next episode. But for now, I just feel so grateful to be talking to you guys about all of this, and that there's so many people that actually trust me about this stuff. So yeah, lots of love. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.